almost ready to go here.
Oh, okay. Hang
kinda
on.
dropped the ball.
Just ignore us for a minute. Just hang tight.
Yeah, it's not happening.
Yeah, all right.
Sorry.
Well, never mind.
I gotta
then.
find the app and all that. It's a lot of
all this
effort.
garbage you have to deal with. So never mind. Forget it. We're live. Welcome to the latest episode of the Crafty Boys here on whatever platform you're watching on. And basically, we're going to hang out and drink some beer and talk about it. So
Cool.
the beer this evening, we're going to start over in the wilds of Toronto. Locke, what beer are you drinking today?
All right. So I was all ready because I had stocked up on it and was going to do it last week, but was doing exams as well, and exams 1. I've got to talk about this a little bit, though, because it is really good. This is the surround sound. Let me see if I can get it to... Yeah, there we go.
Surround sound Lotus. Oh, interesting. Okay.
And
who makes it?
It is a Collective Arts product. It is an 8.2 Lotus and Mosaic hopped double IPA, and it's got a kind of a Eastish hazy character to it.
Okay.
But it's not overly sweet, and I think it is kind of great. So I was all ready to talk about that, and then I sort of don't know.
Another beer walked in through the front door.
Yeah.
I couldn't help but take notice.
Yeah.
Folklore.
It's a Folklore on Cherries Dark Sour Ale at 7.3.
Oh wow. Okay.
Holy. Who does that one?
So this is by Bench Brewing.
Okay.
Let's see what it says. Folklore on Cherries is a dark sour ale finished on Niagara Montmorency cherries from our neighbors at Cherry Lane. With aromas of tart cherry and graham cracker, this dark sour has a tangy, acidy balance by soft raisin malt sweetness. You know what?
Sweetness.
Yeah, it just warmed up in Toronto. It's been cold for the last few days, and this would have been perfect then. But given that it's warmed up, I think tonight I'm going to save that. We'll do it another time. Tonight I'm going with the surround sound.
All right.
Well, tonight the beer for myself and Alan, which we discovered at the liquor store today, is the Lighthouse. Of course, it's going to beam out on mine.
Yeah.
The Lighthouse Brewing Seaport Vanilla Stout, and it is a stout. It's rocking in at 5.5% alcohol by volume. What else has it got on here? It's made with all kinds of stuff, and of course, it is a drinking something or other. I can't read it.
This easy drinking stout harbors real Madagascan vanilla beans to complement the rich roasted malt notes of chocolate and coffee, well balanced with a rich mouthfeel and a hint of sweetness, all anchored by that aromatic African vanilla.
That actually sounded pretty sexy, so well done. All right, so I'm opening this baby up with the...
You know who needs to read that is Barry White.
Barry White would do so well. Or actually, to be honest, James Earl Jones would do it really well too. And then he would end off with drinking beer, Simba.
Oh baby.
I remember watching an episode of The Big Bang Theory a while back, and it had James Earl Jones in it. He was basically like a horny, rich dude. It was hilarious.
He was himself in that.
So I guess he is a horny rich dude. Okay, so Peanut Gallery. I know you were very excited about this. So here you go. Your vanilla stout for your...
Now, fair warning here. I think I've had this before, and we may have actually done it on the show a while back.
If we did,
or maybe not.
I have it whatsoever.
But Lighthouse has done recently a rebrand of all their beers where they have changed their logo, they've changed their labels. So it's probably good to do it again.
Those deceptive beer-making bastards. How dare they try and
I
get me to
wasn't
buy
going
the
there.
same product over and over. Oh wait, actually, no, never mind. It's basically the same. So, although actually today I almost tried to the other beer I was thinking about. I sent Alan a bunch today, Locke, of just different beers. But there was one beer that I thought we actually should do, which was a Spinnakers one. But it wasn't available in Victoria. It was only available here for some reason. So
What?
yeah, it was like one of those ones was like only available like 9 stores, and I'm like, okay. My assumption is it was just sold out in Victoria. So
Yeah, probably. I've seen that beer before, but it was quite a while ago.
I have to say I like this. Not much of a head on it. It is very but I will. It doesn't matter because it actually tastes good.
It is good.
It does taste like vanilla.
It does, but it's subtle. It's really subtle. You know, if I was going to go for a vanilla stout, I think I'd probably go for the one from Mill Street.
Really?
Which is actually a nitro vanilla stout. That is a very enjoyable product. But for a local that is made by a small brewery, this is good too. I'm really enjoying this. This is good stuff.
Nice.
So overall, basically an IPA and a stout tonight. What would be the beer to drink during the winter months? Now, is it always going to win out on stout? Of course, Locke, I'm sure that IPA is good at any time of year, but I just thought I would ask.
Yeah, so part of the reason I picked up the a dark sour cherry kind of a thing is that sort of starts to get Christmassy, doesn't it?
Yeah, I mean, I always associate stouts
like
with Christmas.
we're after Halloween, so that's sort of the next sort of festive sort of theme to go with, you know what I mean? So yeah, I mean,
one of the other beers I noticed that it's everywhere right now is the peanut butter Dunkle. What the heck is that?
This is the Herminator. That is
that the Herminator?
That is a winter beer right there.
Yeah, that is absolutely a winter beer.
The Nutty Uncle one, the peanut butter stout thing.
Yeah.
I see everywhere, and I noticed that maybe they did this last year, but I certainly didn't notice it. But they've got it in cans now. In the 4 or 6, one of the two. And it's reasonably cheap. Like it's actually not that expensive.
It is a really good beer. I think for me, I prefer port.
Yeah, I mean that's the thing about the Nutty Uncle is that it was really good. It actually tasted exactly as described. It tasted like you were drinking a peanut butter cup to a certain degree, but not overly sweet. So you kind of got the nice flavor, but not that sort of sugar punch.
I remember the first time that I described it as like I almost had this inkling to take my finger and scrape off the roof of my mouth.
Yeah, it definitely had that feel to it. But overall, I still gave it a thumbs up because I really hoped that I really hoped that it would be a long-lasting beer, and it seems to have become such.
Yeah.
So I'm very pleased. Okay, so that said,
here's something I've got to ask about. Peanut butter as a flavor to a beer. What do you like about peanut butter? Do you go with salted or unsalted? I guess is what I'm asking.
Ooh,
I'd be salted peanut butter. I think most of the time.
I generally go unsalted.
Yeah, I think
so. So what about a peanut butter gosa? Anybody tried that?
Ooh, no, I don't know. Does such a thing exist? Okay, I'm asking Google.
I mean, here's
I would highly it. I mean, isn't a goat kind of a bit of a sour? I mean, would sour flavor like a sour flavor and
no, but follow through. Like, think about dark chocolate kind of sour. And then put that with salty peanut butter.
Holy crap. Okay. This will answer your question. There is a beer out there. I don't know if this is okay. So yeah, here we go. So this is the brewery called. It's a brewery called Omnipolo. It is a.
I know
You've heard of them.
Yeah.
You've heard of them.
Yeah.
They refer to themselves as a basically a boot camp for beer drinking, or sorry, beer making, and they have a bunch of weird beers that they've made over the years. Now, apparently, let's see, when was this? Was this last year? Looks like it was last year. No, the year before. It's been available for a couple of years now, called the Bianca Peanut Butter Jelly Gosa.
Wow.
So it is 6% alcohol by volume. And it is no longer being, by the way, Omnipolo is from Sweden, if anybody know. But essentially, here are...
From Helsinki, Sweden?
Helsinki's in Finland.
No, that's a quote from Die Hard.
Oh, is it?
Yeah, the stupid, good-looking but ignorant newscaster.
Oh, right.
So anyway, but yeah, so here's what somebody has said. Now, all of these reviews are from the eastern coast of the U.S. Pours with a hazy purple maroon body. Yikes. Topped with a thin white head that leaves minimal lacing. Exceptionally interesting and has an appealing aroma with PB&J. The flavor is nicely balanced, yet highly complex. Moderate tartness for style with some sweetness up front. Light carbonation for a medium body. And it's highly rated. I would love to try this beer. I would like a PB&J beer. But yeah, so basically it looks like that these individuals have all tasted it within the last, say, year. Yep, last year. And I want to see a deep purple red color for a beer. I don't think I've ever seen that. That sounds interesting. So basically, very flavorful and does taste like it does taste as advertised. So there you go.
That is a beer that I had wanted to experiment with. Like, I wanted us to be able to, somebody in BC, to make a peanut butter and jelly beer.
Really?
Yeah. I don't know what kind of style necessarily, but some sort of like a peanut butter and jelly based.
What kind of jelly?
Grape.
Grape, really? Grape? Okay, so what kind of jellies normally go best with peanut butter? Grape is obviously one that I've had. Locke, any PB&J, like what kind of J's would you have for PB? Welcome to Canada, PB&J.
I don't know. I'm kind of thinking blackberries.
Yeah, blackberries. Yeah.
Yeah. I like Lux. The cut of Lux. Yeah, jib.
I like the cut
How's
of
that
his
go?
jib. The cut of his jib.
Yeah, cut of his jib.
Which reminds me, speaking of beer, this past a couple days ago, we went to the beer store, not the beer store, the grocery store, and I was informed that I needed to purchase some beer kits. So I ended up buying they are by a company called Cooper's, I think. Cooper's, yes. So I picked up. I've never seen these before. They've been around forever. They're new to me. But I picked up a lager. I picked up an IPA, and I picked up a stout as well. So I'm gonna give it a try. See what they're like, because they were incredibly cheap, which is why.
Did you, Shane? Did you try any of the beer that I used to make?
I have a vague memory of trying it. I remember it exploded once. But
So
yeah.
So those beers were made from Cooper's kits.
Oh, were they? Okay. Well, the other thing too is that we were talking about how to modify them as well, like take the base and add stuff to
Absolutely.
it. So,
I mean,
but,
at its
yeah.
base, it's just like a malt syrup.
Yeah,
is all it is. And then from there, you can
but
go
it has
and add
It was explained to me that it has the hops in it already. You don't actually.
Yes.
I mean, technically, you don't have to hop it. But of course, with any beer that's being made, hops must be added. So,
and actually, I would strongly say yes. Add hops.
Yeah, so I thought I would try it out because I've never used this type of product before. So I'm going to. And since they were so cheap, I bought a lot of them. So
can I ask how much they were?
I think they were 14 something a piece.
Where'd you get them?
Great Canadian Superstore.
Okay. Save on Food carries them as well.
Yeah, well, normally it looks like most of the time they're about $35, give or take. But it seems that the Canadian Superstore at least sells them for $1 more than I paid, so like $15.95 or something. But again, that could have been a sale too. I really don't know. I've never, as I said, I've never really looked at these products before, so they could normally be like twice that. But yeah, but pretty much anywhere else online looking for them, they're at least $35. Some were even more. Like the IPA, I think it was 42 or something like that. So, but granted, I'm not sure if that included shipping. Maybe it did. I'm not entirely sure. I wasn't paying attention enough. All I knew is that I was going to go buy them for way cheaper and Halloween candy at the same time.
Right.
But excuse me. So I'll have to give you tasters of that at some point. I was actually just looking up some news in the beer world, and there ain't a hell of a lot of stuff going on except for Arizona. There's a few articles about Arizona and about how a bunch of different breweries have been thriving and getting into the $1 billion range of that particular state's economy. So, well, I gotta say,
these are what, craft breweries?
Sorry,
craft breweries? Is that what?
Apparently, yeah.
Oh.
So I'm quite happy to actually.
So maybe that's a new hotspot. What are they doing that's making them as successful as that?
It seems that there's probably about looks like half a dozen different breweries there are doing quite well, which I have to admit is very surprising to me.
Do their products look unusual at all? Just the usual kind of list of styles and stuff.
It doesn't look like it. I mean, granted, they're talking about multiple breweries. They're not actually talking about particular individual beers. Mm-hmm. They're just talking about the breweries in general. Seems that a lot of the coffees and stuff like that is like the coffee beers, the beers that have some flavor to them, some flavoring to them, seem to be doing quite well. But I just noticed another story here that is not that old, only a few hours old. Canadian cannabis company agrees to buy U.S. craft beer maker Sweetwater, known for its 420 branded brews. Interesting. So,
what's that gonna mean?
So
while I was in Oregon, I had a CBD infused beer, right? And I ordered I don't know, a bunch of them. I don't know if I noticed any CBD effects, but then again, I don't know if I would because I've always been mystified as to what CBD does. But
Locke, being in the medical industry, Alan being in the medical industry, would you be able to explain to us about what CBD does? And go.
No. I'm not a doctor. I mean, come on.
At any rate, there like so the problem in Oregon was oversupply because after legalization in Oregon, everybody thought, well, there's going to be a gold rush, so let's race out and grow like crazy. And what you ended up with was a situation where because of the interstate commerce thing, federal illegality in the U.S., they couldn't get it out of the state, so they had to do something with it in state. And what do you do with all that weed?
Like, come on down to Billy Bob's bonfire of weed. We light it, you huff it. Isn't there a? Yeah, I think it was in the film "Romancing the Stone," where the two lead characters find a crashed marijuana plant.
Campfire.
Yeah, exactly. That whole thing. That's a campfire. I think that would be a selling feature. Okay, now from what I understand about CBD, essentially, it is able to bind with your the receptors, the cannabinoid something receptor, whatever. That's some long complex name, but essentially, THC connects in one way, CBD connects in a completely different way, and results in things like pain relief. It has an effect. I think it somewhat mimics endorphins as well, but not the high endorphins. The sort of low. Oh, my shoulder doesn't hurt as much. But I mean, essentially, I use my dad as an example, right? He is had 2 knee surgeries, 1 replacement. He's had used to be an iron worker, so his body in the old age is like you were stupid in your 30s. So he actually called me up one day because he'd been using some opiate based thing for a couple of years, probably more. But when the opiate market was hitting the news and they were talking about the side effects of, you could blow your heart up or whatever. He was like, well, enough of that. We basically went cold turkey off of these things and called me up. And I'll never forget the phone calls. He called me up and started asking me questions about how to go to dispensaries because it's before legalization kicked in. Like I would know. That was like, I don't know. You walk in and be like, "Ow, my shoulder." And they're like, "Here's your prescription." But yeah, so he started taking it, and he wasn't a believer. He just thought he needed to find a different way to manage pain.
Yeah.
And he swears by it. He said, "I don't know what it's doing, but I put it on my tongue." And because he uses the CBD oil. And the pain.
Is it just CBD oil, or is there a THC component to it?
He tells me there's no THC in it, so
I think they're pretty good at separating it out these days. Since legalization, the regulatory scrutiny has gone way up, and so now all of a sudden there's all of this actual science going into the weed that people are growing with.
Right.
Not that there weren't probably some Heisenbergs out there before, but
well, exactly.
They were after different results.
Well, and that's the thing, right? Is that having this particular deal here with that Canadian company buying this brewery makes sense because they, as it says here in their little press release, is that it's not about we don't make drinks that make people high. It's about the taste and flavor, the natural flavors of marijuana itself is what we do with them in the beer making process. Which apparently they refer to them as natural hemp flavors, which when combined with select hops emulate flavors and aromas of popular cannabis strains. So there you go.
Interesting.
Well, look, hops and cannabis they're related plants.
I would never have known that until just now.
I didn't know that.
I think they are. Yeah, this is.
Hey Google, are hops related to cannabis? Let's see what the internet tells us. Oh, they are related. There you go. You can find out more at the website www.wikileaf.com. Wikileaf.com. Who knew?
That's hilarious.
But apparently they are related to certain flavor. They also together can create all kinds of different flavors. Blah 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 blah. So there you go. So if you want to know more, wikileaf.com in the section referred to as the stash. So there you go. I mean, and this is the other thing. The only other news really of late is in the beer thing, in the beer world, is several overturned trucks that have smashed a lot of beer and wrecked a lot of beers. So, which is, I think, a little less concerning than some breweries, as we were talking about last week or the week before, having to dump their beer because they couldn't sell it. COVID basically wiped them out. So. There you go. So, I got to say, I fully support any of these organizations getting together to do something unique, because I think that's essentially what we try to do here on our little program of actually trying to come up with find beer that a lot of people might not know about and hopefully learn something or not, or just watch a bunch of middle-aged dudes drink beer and falter with their mental capacity.
So advent calendars.
Yes, advent calendars.
Okay, so Parallel 49 just yesterday announced that they're going to be coming out with an advent calendar this year called It's a Wonderful Time for a Beer, which is awesome. It's going to be sold at BC liquor stores and private liquor stores here in BC, but also apparently in Alberta and Saskatchewan as well.
Now that's news. You and I have actually talked about this before. We were surprised that it was not going far and wide, because you'd think that everyone and their dog would be creating an advent calendar, but some places don't, because they don't have 24 different brews going, or they don't have the capacity or interest to brew that amount of beer. Because I suspect that they would have to plan that out, beginning of the year to get it all done. But because I know that I've talked to some people that I know that are work at different breweries in the city here, and they talk about how if they are doing anything interesting, if they're trying to create a new beer, or they're trying to do something brand new or do collaborations or whatever, if any of that experimentation gets in the way of their main products, they will dump beer to, like, I'm sorry, we need tank 4 and 5 to make whatever, insert name of popular beer here. So yeah, some places don't have the ability to do it, which is why I guess we've seen the Red Racer and Phillips combos, like the trading off. I think that's basically what we've had.
So Phillips has also come out with a case, but it's only got 12 beers in it.
That is not an advent calendar.
It's not an advent calendar.
24 beer, nothing. I want a 2-4 in my 24.
Central City, who has put out one for the past few years, has not announced anything yet. So I don't know if they're going to do one this year or not.
Well, I mean, honestly, this year has been such a dumpster fire. I mean, I'm honestly surprised that we're actually getting one. So I'm willing to wait for a week or two to before actually picking one up. But I'm secretly hoping, as you and I were saying, that we would maybe get another 24 advent calendar out there. But I totally understand why some of these places are probably like, no. Thank you, Julian, who is our most dedicated fan.
I see that.
So a case is 24. Those dummies. Here we go. Actually, I can show this to everyone. There you go. That's the truth. Represent.
It is. Now, one thing I hope that we don't see, because this is the problem I had last year with the Central City one, is it was 24 unique beers, but there was a hell of a lot of lagers and pilsners in there. So basically what they did is they made a primary with lager, like a primary lager, and then what they did is they went and portioned that out equally and added adjuncts to it to form different individual beers. But all of them were based on the original lager that they made, and I think they're kind of cheaped out that way.
Yeah, they should have made an original double IPA and kind of gone from there. Or maybe a
okay,
and then
sure. So, something a little bit more bold, anyway.
Yeah, no.
So I was a little bit disappointed with last year.
You can hardly blame that. At some point you gotta wonder, like, how many. I mean, it would be nice to see more collaborations. That would fill the gap in a classier way. I'll grant you that.
Yeah. Well, and that's what actually Parallel 49 and Central City used to do. They used to come together and put out an advent calendar together, each one making 12 unique beers. But now they've divided off. Each one does their own. So now each one has to make 24 supposedly original beers, which is really hard to do.
Yeah. Locke, I just wanted to say that when you lean back, you look like Neo in the first Matrix movie.
Oh.
A couple of times. You lean back and it looks like you're in the room with all of the stuff. Hey, Taco Maniac is back this week. Has a question. I hope it's a good one because I suspect it might not be. So please ask your question. You said you wanted to ask it last week and you vanished. So please ask away because you don't need permission to ask. The brain in my head had a question, which I just totally lost. So never mind. Ignore me. Locke, take it away.
Right. So here's some news from Portland. So Rogue Brewery, having closed due to COVID stresses, their first location, or at least their primary one, the Pearl District location, which the real estate in Pearl District has to be, I don't know what that's worth. So I'm assuming that they were renting, not owning. So that maybe explains why they decided to do this. But they've left the Pearl District and now they are just located in their one on the other side of the river. With also, I think they've got. Do they have one? I think they've got a few others around Oregon. But
Locke, can you hold your thought just there for a second?
What the fuck?
The question from Taco Maniac just came through. And can the bald guy with the jar and the button-up shirt talk to me after the stream? He is cute AF.
Okay, fuck. Right.
There you go. We'll have to hook you guys up afterwards.
You're not incorrect about that, but
I agree, man. I think nailed it right on the head there. Sorry, go back to what you're saying about beer.
Anyway, so that was somewhat sad news, but they did have a Halloween party on Halloween, albeit a COVID distanced one over the internet with a costume party and everything. So there you go.
Nice.
Now, actually, speaking of Halloween, did you guys
Dress up?
did you Halloween has come and gone.
Yeah.
Anything happen? Like anything? I mean, did you have an exam on Halloween? I seem to recall.
Yeah, I had an exam on Halloween, exactly on Halloween. That is exactly how I spent Halloween night.
Well, hey, it's
administrative law. Administrative law. That is how I spent that evening. Yeah.
Yeah.
In the darkest fantasies of my childhood, never did I think Halloween could suck that much.
To be honest, we actually only have a couple of kids of trick-or-treating age that live in our building, and they did run around. There was a Black Panther and there's a princess, I think. I can't remember, but or a spider, one of the two. There were other kids.
A princess or a spider? You don't know the difference?
There was a spider princess. I don't know.
Spiders have 8 legs and are ugly. Princesses have 2 legs usually.
Spiders aren't ugly.
Spiders are pretty ugly. Look, I hate spiders. Spiders.
I was actually thinking of you the other day, Alan, because I was watching an episode of Doctor Who, and it was all about how spiders grew to be 5 feet across.
So I had this dream the other night.
Oh God!
Let's
hear it.
I never remember my dreams, but this one I remember. I lived in a house, but it wasn't this house. It was like this castle kind of thing, and there was this stone thing on the top, and sitting on top of it was this huge tarantula. I'm talking this thing was this big, and they started making this web that went all around this stone emplacement on my castle. And I turned around, and then I looked back, and the tarantula was gone. It wasn't there anymore. And it turns out what it had done, it had gone in to this web thing it created. It was like a cocoon. And eventually it came out, and it was this huge monster, and it was chasing me all over the castle trying to get me.
It sounds like an episode of Doctor Who.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Well, what can you do? Yeah, you just have to.
What you need to do is make detailed notes about it, and contact a cinematographer and a screenwriter, and actually do that as a feature film.
That's true. It's your way in. Big spider.
Yeah. Just imagine Terry Gilliam. How would Terry Gilliam direct your dream?
Yeah.
That's a good point. That is a very good point. I mean, if anyone could make that into something awesome, it'd be Gilliam.
You think it's not awesome?
I know. I'm saying it's completely awesome.
I'm saying to actually make it into a film.
Oh, I get it. I had this other dream the other night. I mean, this is weird. I remember 2 dreams in a week here.
Oh, there's 2 dreams. Here we go.
2 dreams in a week. Okay. For some reason, I was an ambulance worker, but I kept being late for work, and I'd show up to work without my uniform on. And they were getting really mad at me for that. Showing up late, not wearing my uniform.
Okay. Yeah. I mean,
I don't know what's up with that.
I sort of see why they'd be mad. They are paying you.
Nobody else can see the chat, right?
No. Well, if they're
just you and me,
I haven't looked at the chat. What the fuck?
It doesn't matter. I'm sorry, Taco Mania. You're out.
I think Taco Maniac has some issues.
Yeah, Taco. Yeah.
I think he's American, first of all.
Exactly. Apparently, Locke, you're depressed about the American election, which here in Canada, I guess we kind of are, but not really.
I am totally not paying attention to that shit. I don't care who wins.
Well, I mean,
it doesn't affect me.
It doesn't affect us directly. No, that's definitely true. But
it's their tire fire, not ours.
Exactly, and yeah.
Hey, Taco Maniac, it's your tire fire. You deal with it.
What is the tire fire called in The Simpsons?
Isn't the tire fire?
Is that just all? I thought it had an attraction.
Yeah, it's just called the tire
fire. I gotta say, every time I think of The Simpsons, I always hear in the back of my mind, I'll always hear, what? Which is the very top of the escalator that goes nowhere.
Oh, right.
It's like a big attraction in Springfield. That's just this escalator that goes up and then you fall off the end. It's always people being all surprised. Wow! They're probably falling into the tire fire. But I got distracted by Taco Meat or Taco Mania. Taco Maniac? Taco Maniac. So somebody save the show. Go. Do it. Make it happen. Thanks, Alan.
Well,
Jumping in.
let's go off on Taco Maniac 444 here.
Yeah, okay.
Because this guy here is really like chapping my my hide here. What can we say about him?
I don't know. I've read any of this shit, and
we've never had to deal with a heckler.
Oh no, we've had somebody very similar not too long ago who I blocked right away because here's the thing: if you can get creative,
dickhead or a right-wing dickhead. I don't give a shit.
I suspect leans right because they did bring up pornography featuring Hillary Clinton. So I suspect leans right, but or curves right, one of the two, whichever comes first. But anyway, we have had to here's the thing. Here I have a really high bar for what insults should be. If you want to insult us, you have to beat people that know us really well because they're able to really drive those daggers into the side, right?
Yeah.
So
like your mother was a hamster and your father smells of elderberries. Kind of like that kind of thing, but think of your own thing, you know.
If you start by being creative,
don't eat Democrats and Democrats don't eat Republicans because then we fucking rip useless cunts.
But here's the thing: is that the to analyze the opening here, we there was a hello, hi, how are you doing? Okay, thank you. I have a question. Great, don't ask for permission, just ask away. And then said that you were hot as fuck. So that was fine. But then
I should also say that we're assuming this guy is a male, right? I mean, we don't know.
Good point.
Yeah.
But here's the thing: is that is, starting to climb the hill of getting close to the bar of what the humor should be to be creative and funny. But then it just went straight into vulgarity, and I just thought, well, if you can't entertain me, if you can't participate and just completely go for broke, and you just get right. You dive into the barrel so deep that it just becomes not interesting. You get
so Taco Maniac. I want to give you some advice.
Okay,
I want Taco Maniac 444 to take a good hard look in the mirror, move out from your mom's basement, turn off the computer, stop whacking, all the time. Get a job and get your own place.
Because then you can have your own place where you can just whack all the time.
I guess, yeah. I hadn't planned that out.
So yeah, if you want to come on back at some point in the future, by all means, I do invite it. But don't. Here's the thing. I am not a fan.
What are you drinking now, Locke?
Just more of the same.
What is it?
Oh, it's the same thing.
Yeah.
It looks.
Locke, sorry, I want to get back to the beer.
Yes,
so
let's please.
Last week, you were drinking something from Collective Arts, and you were like way over the moon on it. I mean,
so I'm very selective about the Collective Arts product I buy. Difficult because as you can see, the marketing is like crazy. So it's all like zany art, lots of colors and shit. So it's pretty difficult to tell exactly what you're looking at. So you have to read the words. And I don't know, this one kind of spoke to me. It was, Lotus and Mosaic hops, and it's 8.2%. Yeah, all right, I'll give that a try. The thing is, at my height, it takes something like that. If I want have a proper. I want to get drunk. This is what it's got to be. I'm not going to get drunk on something that's like 5%, unless I drink 20 of them and then get fat because
the alcohol has to travel so far to get to your head.
Loads of bread. Yeah. So anyway, so Collective Arts, I think highly of some of their product. I have had one or two that are just total duds, truthfully, and the art on Stranger Than Fiction is so much better than the beer inside that, and maybe it's just that I tried Stranger Than Fiction in the middle of summer when like we were just talking earlier this evening about when do you drink stouts? You drink stouts in the winter. If you're drinking a pilsner, that's going to go down on a bright sunny day better than it will. Well, maybe after skiing, Anyway, I'm not gonna quibble over that. Point being, I would give Stranger Than Fiction another try when it gets properly cold, because then maybe it's good. It might, just be in a better setting. But as it was, I found it sort of, it was one of those kind of too sweet kind of drinks, and it's especially irritating when it's a stout.
Mm-hmm. So I have to correct you on something.
Oh, shoot.
Stouts are okay to drink in summer, especially if you put vanilla ice cream in it.
That's a good point. We did that once on the show. I think we should do it again.
It was good.
Yeah, I mean that's not drinking a beer. That's having dessert.
Okay, fair enough. You're all right.
Again.
Okay, I'm out of beer.
We lost it. I'm out of beer too. So I think we'll call it there because I apparently just can't think at all. It's been a long day. So overall, this beer, the Seaport Vanilla Stout, tastes as advertised. I am very pleased with it. This I would get again. I think this is something I would definitely check out. Locke, Collective Arts, all kinds of stuff that you've been drinking. Of course, we're going to get it again because if you approve, that's an approval enough for me. So I'll check it out. Because Collective Arts is out here as well. I've seen it everywhere. So.
That's the possibility of doing a crossover where we all actually have the same drinking game.
Exactly, yeah, because you living in Toronto, you're so far away. We're just gonna have to make more of an effort to find beer that we can all get. By the way, Dave is not going to be here for this week and probably next until the end of November because he's not allowed to drink beer for a whole month. Long story short, medical stuff, yada yada yada. Doctors.
Has he got fatty liver disease?
Oh yeah, he's had to have 2 livers installed, just because otherwise.
Installed.
Yeah,
maybe he needs a firmware upgrade.
But so he might not be around for a little bit. So Locke, okay. you'll have to make sure to be here every week, man. You're gonna have to fill the dead air because it'll just be me and Alan talking about whatever.
Beer. Let's do this.
Beer. But anyway, thank you all for watching. I know that some of you have been here, and hopefully Taco Maniac, you'll be back next week because you got up your game. You got up your insulting game because we have a really high bar. You want to roast us? You really got to try. So, Alan, I hope the audience is ready to take us out, but maybe not. No, they're not. It's okay. Thank you, everybody.
We'll improvise.
And keep going. I haven't got to the button yet. Louder.